Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Saturday afternoon's main event. It's not a phenomenal one here. And of course, right next to me is the Peeps Nate. Um, usually here on Same, we're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. But insane enough as it is, this is the third straight week that we've had to do this before the show. It's bizarre to me because it kind of draws me back to having to lose Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt within a few days within each other from last year. But today, before we start the show, I just want to go ahead and say a few things about the individual within the background behind us, um, by the name of Sid Udy, who was known to me as Psycho Sid. Um, I told this story on my Instagram a couple of days back on Monday when I heard of the passing of Sid Udy. And the story kind of goes like this. I was a little kid, around age 4, 5-ish. Of course, a young fan of the Dead Man, living in Brooklyn, New York, with a grandfather who held VHSs of old school wrestling as much as Jews will held pennies or whatever the case may be, whatever it came down to. It was like he was a collector of wrestling tapes. It was, for me, one of those things of growing up, you knew wrestling, especially within my household. And one day we had gradually sat down, and I remember pulling out the VHS marked WrestleMania 13. And throughout watching the whole show, not knowing who's on the card, here comes the main event: Undertaker versus Psycho Sid for the WWF title. Having to see somebody like Taker and be feared by him when I first saw him. At this point now, I'm gradually into a space where, I'm not afraid of the Dead Man as a kid. It's Undertaker. Go Taker. The truth is, when I heard Psycho Sid's theme song echo throughout Hartford, when I noticed this 6'10" frame of a man, built, shredded, blonde hair, and really his eyes is what really scared the living daylights out of me. I sat there and I was like, oh God, Taker might actually not have a chance. This guy's scary as hell. I Sid, afar from anything else, Sid really scared the living daylights out of me. Of course, the match ends with Undertaker going ahead and delivering a tombstone and winning the WWF title. But from that point on, when I told that story on Instagram, I began to recollect my thoughts. And it made me realize that Sid was the second person ever within my life to actually scare me and make me fear him in a sense of being afraid of a character in the terms of professional wrestling. Of course, as I began to grow older and older and older, you began to idolize Sid. You began to understand why Sid was Sid. Sid gave us a lot of great moments, and even the little things that I began to notice where he had his things with Goldberg, and Goldberg would destroy his car in WCW, and he would overreact once he gets to the parking lot, and he'd be like, Goldberg, why? Why? And it's like a whole 2004 movie of somebody literally like Cindy from like scary movies saying, where are you? And it's just like I'm sitting there like, damn it, Sid, you're a great actor, but it's hokey as well. But you're sitting there and you're being entertained because it's Sid. But all in all, there was a reason why I understand now why Sid would be like, who's the man? Who's the man? And it's like the nickname, the master, ruler of the world. For a good time in professional wrestling, I can honestly say Sid did that. And as much as it sucks, because losing somebody as soon as Sid in his 60s isn't something I aspired to happen. I didn't think it was close to happening. And alongside that, to think that Sid has now passed on to a new life and he never got inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's what stings me. Of course, it may happen posthumously, but for me, it would have been a joy to see him take his rightful place within the Hall of Fame, being the professional wrestler that he was. But it's with that I go ahead and pass this on to Peeps. But before I do that, I just want to say to the family of Sid Eudy, to the friends, to the fans, as we are a collective of fans in the world of professional wrestling, just rest in peace to Sid Eudy. Peeps, floor is yours, my friend.
Well, thank you. As you just kind of hit it right there on hit the nail on the head. Basically, we as a wrestling community, we know when wrestlers have been around from generations past. We revere them for what they were able to do, both their good traits and their flaws. Sid wasn't perfect. We already know that. There are a lot of stories that are out there of things that Sid did, maybe because of ego, maybe because of how he was brought up in the business. Those are documented. We know about a lot of those things. But the one thing that Sid brought to your television is a believability that this huge monster of a man was someone not to be trifled with. I remember watching him before he became Sid, because I recognize the frame and what are some of the things that he did when he was in Jerry Lawler's promotion. He was in the CWA. He also wrestled somewhat in Puerto Rico under the name of Lord Humongous, where he had a mask on and he wrestled. He was a really big guy. And I was like, well, this guy is huge, but this is a big guy. And then seeing him shortly after that get into the NWA Crockett Promotions, which became WCW, and then teaming up in the tag team known as the Skyscrapers. And that tag team was insanely good. And that tag team of Danny Spivey and Sid Vicious, they would literally beat the hell out of anybody that got in their way in WCW. And for a lot of folks, that they remember the Skyscrapers as their feud with the Road Warriors. Sid coming in, showing you what he could do, and then, of course, incorporating the power bomb, which he did not invent because that was Lou Thesz's invention. Yet he innovated it to the extent that, wow, that looked like it hurt. And we've seen a lot of his accolades from when he was with the Skyscrapers to when he was one of the Horsemen. And then, of course, going further on, going to the WWF at the time, winning WWF championships, and showing you the imposing nature of who he was. There are a lot of people that may not be of my generation, but came a little bit after, and they recognized Sid when he was in ECW. And that Psycho Sid persona when he came out, and he would give the fist bumps to the fans and walk down the aisle, give the fist bumps to the fans. So there was that part of him, but there was also the personal side of him that what a lot of wrestlers have talked about is he's one of the kindest people away from the wrestling business that you could ever be around. And there are a lot of stories of Sid talking with fans and signing autographs and doing those kinds of things. And you then understand his connection to the business as the master and the ruler of the world. His tag team with Vader, and they were calling themselves the Masters of the Power Bomb, and they were managed by Harley Race, and being an integral part of the structure of the company then. And then, of course, in his latter years, going to the WWF. And I think the saddest part of this is you hit on maybe about 2 minutes ago, is the fact that with all of the things and the accolades that he's done in ECW, WWE, WCW, he had not been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And I think he will be, put in probably for next WrestleMania, because it's only right as a huge oversight. And we know how sometimes wrestling can be political.
Of
But
course.
this is something that needs to be rectified. He has a long 30 years in the business from all of the things that he's done, all of the great matches, the experiences that people have had, and how he has touched the wrestling business. So from my side, on behalf of all of our wrestling community, we pass our condolences to Sid Eudy and his family and his friends and fans that have followed him for so long. May he rest in peace.
Exactly right. Well, in that sense, before we go ahead and start the show, as we usually do here, as tradition here on Saturday afternoon's main event for those who have passed on, who have been icons in the industry, we will go ahead and give a 10-bell salute to Sid Eudy. Thank you, guys. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this marks this end of the tribute. Stay tuned. Do not go anywhere, because the second half and the beginning of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Shock the system. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome, welcome, welcome to Season 8, Episode 5, The Phenomenon Known to Mankind, the Saturday afternoon's main event. If you do not know who I am, whether you are dumb, stupid, blind, or just plain irrelevant, I suggest you go back to school, go into your local library, get the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the Phenomenal One, and here on Same, I'm not here alone because I'm joined by my co-host, my comrade, my brother from another mother and dimension, the one, the only limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a gun who is not having a hard time holding his alligators down. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, give me 2 claps and a peep stage.
Woo!
There we go.
We are here once again, another Saturday, another filled weekend of pro wrestling. And you say, you give them those 3 tenets for a great Saturday afternoon: laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. And we are
right
here.
Exactly. Well,
Yes.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the show. If you're watching, whether you're on Twitch, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on YouTube, or whether you're on IG Live, we appreciate you guys for going ahead and coming in, seeing what we do here on Same. Of course, like Pete said, we're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. If you want to go ahead and keep up with what we do here on Same, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. Follow us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons_main event, or on Twitter at Saturday Main. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, look, today, it's a lot. This weekend is a lot. We have Bash in Berlin within an hour, and we got No Mercy tomorrow. So look, we're not going to hold you for long. We're not going to carry on for about an hour and a half or so. No, this thing is going to go ahead and get over with at exactly 1 o'clock. So look, without further ado, let's go ahead and just get right into the show. And peeps, You know that when you hear this sound, it means one thing and one thing only, right?
There you go.
Okay, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and peeps, brace yourself because it is time for
Wrestling Crash Course.
I'm fine over here. Peeps,
Oh.
jeez, man. Yo, somebody get Peeps home insurance. Okay. Fact of the matter is this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is time for Wrestling Crash Course. Over here, we go ahead and carry through most of the news that we have to get through within the span of a good amount of time. Today, we're only covering one thing and one thing only with Wrestling Crash Course. Ladies and gentlemen, this past Saturday, we went ahead and gave our predictions for All In. On Sunday, we watched the show. Honestly, an amazing show. Aside from a couple of things. Number one, Christian Cage winning the Casino Gauntlet. BS. Moving on from that. I don't even want to cover it. I digress. First one of the day. We're steamrolling with these I digress peeps. We're not holding them for long.
Yes. We're not keeping them in the bank. Just got to use
at
it.
At all. Look,
Yeah.
when it comes to the matches, and I think peeps can agree with me here. Toni Storm and Mariah May, chef's kiss. MJF versus Will Ospreay, chef's kiss. Bryan Danielson dethroning Swerve Strickland to become the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, chef's kiss. And on top of that, he didn't retire. Amazing stuff.
Yes.
Great stuff. Sting making an impromptu appearance. You know what? I'm not even doing it the right way. Let me do it Tony Schiavone style. It's Sting. Okay, I'll stop. But Sting making an impromptu entrance, amazing as well. But peeps, with me saying that some of these matches were great, what caught your attention? Did you feel like, I know the placement was invigorating, I know.
Yes.
But aside from all of that, was it a great show in your mind?
It was a very good show. Is the one thing that we always have been staunchly positive about with AEW.
You're right.
Is that when they do pay-per-views, they do pay-per-views as far as all contained within the event, they do pay-per-views really good. It's that all-encompassing event. It feels like a big event. It feels like a big show. It feels like I can't believe I'm actually going to use this, a conglomeration of dream matches that the fans want to see. But this is what I have to say is one of the better cards that AEW has done for pay-per-view. As a matter of fact, that main event with Swerve and with Danielson was without question it. For those that have not seen the match yet, however you get a chance to see it, you need to see that match. It is without question match of the year contention. That's how good that match was.
Definitely.
The only downplaying parts of some of these matches were the placement of the matches, the booking. In the middle of some of these matches, you would have other match placement that was okay. The coffin match was the match before the main event, which happened to be about the shortest match on the card. Usually when you have a main event match, which we know is going to be high emotion, high stakes, the importance of the match because it's Danielson's career versus the world championship on the line.
Of course.
How on earth do you have that coffin match as the match before the main event? That match could have been dropped a little lower in the card.
I would have switched that with the Ospreay and MJF match. If you had the American or international, whatever you want to call it, if you had that match prior to the main event, I'm not gonna lie to you, that would have been great. But not even that. How does Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker go on later into the show, and you have Toni Storm and Mariah May, the second match of the night?
Especially when Jamie Hayter, who we'd all been predicting was going to show up at the show, wasn't even on the main show.
They put her on the zero outer.
They put her in the 0 hour pre-show. I digress. There's number 2.
Nah,
I'm
Phoebes, I told you we're
I'm letting
steamrolling
that
with you,
one
man.
simmer. But I have to say, that main event match was drama. It was paced well. There was parts in the match where Danielson was getting literally cattle stomped in front of his wife and kids who were ringside. And Swerve is yelling at the kids and yelling at the wife. Oh, do you want this to happen to you? Here we go. And stomps him in the face and he busted wide open after one of the spots that I actually shows you how good Danielson is. He took a Death Valley driver on the ring bell on the apron. And there was literally this amount of margin of error between his skull and that ring bell. And just the rest of the way the match went. And then Danielson is looking at his kids and his wife, and he's like, I'm sorry, because he looked like he was about to lose the match. And every time that Swerve got something going, Danielson got out. Danielson looked like he was about to do something else, Swerve got out. But every time he got put in a move, I'm sorry, because he looked like he was gonna lose.
But
And
what made it amazing was when he kind of started hulking up. When Swerve started going ahead and administering the kicks to him, and with each kick he would be like, I love you so much, don't worry, I'm not gonna give up. And after each kick he's just mouthing something up until the point that he literally snaps and starts administering everything else to Swerve. And even then, Hangman kind of living up to what he said, I'm gonna make sure that you get erased from every single history book in this company. And having to kind of like put himself within the match, not really interfere within the match itself, but just be ringside and have that presence kind of knock off Swerve to where
it
Swerve
worked.
The running knee. Peeps, that was great. Just great. Tony, you see when you do good things, isn't that hard, man? Like,
within the context of everything, it worked.
Aside from Jericho going ahead and coming out to Wembley hitting the "Hi guys," aside from that, which I still don't understand why Chris Jericho's on my television screen in 2024, but it's okay. It's okay. But still, guys, it was a great show for us. We enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed too. But seemingly, this marks the end of Wrestling Crash Course. Because like I said, we have more things to go ahead and get into. So once more, if you want to go ahead and keep up with all the latest social media news and updates, follow us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons_main event or on Twitter at Saturday Main. With that being said, we see our first comment on the live chat here on YouTube. It's Hot Rod saying, I digress t-shirts coming to a store near you. Get ready to buy them. The prices will be insane.
Yes. That little Crazy Eddie reference for those kids of the 80s that remember. It's insane. Yeah.
Only Hot Rod.
Yes.
But look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're now at this part in our show where we're going to go ahead and get started with predictions. And the first set of predictions that we're going to go ahead and get started with out here is the predictions for tomorrow's NXT No Mercy event. Hailing from Denver, Colorado in the Ball Arena, it's supposed to be a great show. Peeps, this is going to kick off right before NXT starts going, nationwide? Instead of being at the center. So this is going to be shape-shifting. This is going to be great.
This is a huge mark for the NXT brand.
Oh, yes. Completely right. Now, peeps, first match over here is Wesley versus Zach Wentz. We know how we've sat there and said to ourselves, the Rascals. We know how familiar we are with MSK.
Yes.
Now it seems like it's all culminating into this. Now, peeps, with that being said, who do you have winning this match here? Wes or Zach? How does this go?
I think for the feud, the way it's working, I think Wesley has to go over. And the reason why is because Wes right now, they're building him as this heel, but a conflicted heel. It's, I have to get out of helping everyone else out. He never really on screen addressed how the tag team dissolved with MSK. And this was kind of how it happened with Wentz now there, and they're going to put on a hell of a match. But I think for this particular issue, for this match, I think Wesley has to win going into whatever title picture they're trying to prop him up for. That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, I can respect that. Okay, so I think I got Wesley here as well. You can pencil that down for me. Second over here, tag team match for the NXT tag titles: Chase U versus Nate Frazier and Axiom. Peeps, of course, we were shocked when we found out that Chase U ended up winning the tag titles.
That was the best tag team match NXT has made this year.
Yes,
where they won the belts.
Right.
That without question, wall to wall action off. It was literally off the chain.
Yes, it was. So look, since people think that this may be some type of fluke and Chase U can't probably do it again, will they defend the title successfully? I say yes. Pencil me down for Chase U. Do you say the same, peeps?
Yes, I do. Chase U. They just, like I said, they're not going to win the belts and then lose them that quick. Especially if they're trying to convince us that at some point, Axiom and Nathan Frazier may split as a tag team at some point and go their separate ways. Maybe that's where they're headed.
Definitely.
But not before they give us at least 2 or 3 more of these matches, because I want to see more.
Yo, peeps. Good grief.
There you go.
Okay, well, with that being said, third match, Kalani Jordan versus Wendy Chu, singles match for the NXT Women's North American title. Give me Kalani Jordan. Wendy Chu will go ahead and put up a front. That will be amazing to see. It's going to be a good match, but in all, Kalani Jordan retaining. I got that.
For now. I don't think Wendy Chu is the one that's going to take the belt from her, but this creepy doll angle thing that they're going with, I don't know, but it's kind of working.
I mean,
kind of. Not really there, but it's kind of working.
You got a point. No, you actually got a point.
You know,
aside from the fact that they kind of got Rosemary on NXT TV.
I wasn't expecting that one.
I mean, hey, listen, peeps, this is the new age. I mean, you kind of got to get used to these things now. But I mean, Wendy's starting to go ahead and get better within NXT. I like how they kind of turned her persona dark, but still, for me, it's just like Kalani. Yeah, I think a couple more months of holding the title would be nice. Maybe about like a month and a half, 2 months. Because you don't really need a long reign, especially with Kalani. I guess it's already built up her resume for a good amount of time now before she would eventually hit the main roster. But for now, Kalani Jordan going ahead and retaining that's the best way for me. From there, peeps, singles match for the NXT North American title. You got Tony D'Angelo going up against my boy and his Oma Feminis.
Yes.
listen. Oba Femi for the win here. I don't care what anybody else says. The man is a beast. The man is a destroyer. He is a conqueror. And what I'm telling you right now is not a prediction, but it is a spoiler. Oba Femi for the win, retaining the NXT.
I think Oba is going to win, but the way that they've been presenting Tony D'Angelo and the way that they've been kind of speaking him almost an invocation of what he may do, they're playing this like Tony might actually win this thing. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be Oba. And Oba has been dominant against everybody. But I don't know what's scary. Having Oba wrestle in the ring or seeing Oba in a suit telling you that he's going to beat you senseless. So
it is kind of something new. You got to damn, peeps. Kind of think about it. Jeez. I mean, it's Oba Femi, for God's sakes. You kind of got to let him rock with that one.
And there you go.
Still, Oba for the win here. Okay, so it seems like we're all agreeing on this over here. Fifth match, Roxanne Perez versus Jada Parker. As much as I gotta get enough of my Jada Parker, but I got Roxanne Perez winning here, and alongside that, I got a debut.
Okay,
peeps. I don't have a watch on me, as you can tell by my wrists, but I do have a clock down here that says 12:19 p.m. and it's August 31st, 2024. On September 1st, 2024, NXT will understand what it means for women's wrestling to have some type of stardom. Give me Julia to go ahead and make her debut in the WWE, coming face to face with Roxanne Perez.
Yeah,
That's how I'm feeling.
that's not bad timing at all, and I think that kind of lines up with the thinking that I was having too. That at some point, Julie is going to be ready, and they've gotten her commitments with Stardom for the most part finished, and now it's a matter of presentation. And I think that she's going to be ready to be brought into NXT and show everybody what she can do.
Definitely right. Definitely right. I mean, I know that she got done with Ogawa's, mini promotion out here in Marigold, and I guess she said her goodbyes in Japan. Peeps, listen, load up the rocket fuel. Take that ship to the moon. Julia's about to wreck every single woman in the roster. She about to be out here winning the title. She about to be out here joining the main roster within a year and a half. She about to be out here whipping every single woman's ass. Listen, Julia's about to be her. She said she wants to be the Shohei Ohtani of women's wrestling. She damn sure about to be. So honestly, give me that. But still, all in all, Roxanne Perez is going to go ahead and win this match. Because I know after going ahead and getting that slap from Jada Parker this past Tuesday, she is pent up with some type of rage. But hey, Jada, that's my girl. Listen, she laid the smack him down. I'll stop.
I think the good doctor is going to have some words to say about that.
Leave me alone, peeps. Listen. I know my passage. This is okay. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah. She don't have too much to say, baby. Okay? It's okay. But with that being said, last match for NXT No Mercy, Ethan Page versus Jesus Christ, peeps.
Yes.
Did we ever think this was possible?
I don't think that anybody in the company thought that something like this was possible, because just 6 months ago, Joe Hendry was still in TNA and Ethan Page was at catering in AEW.
Peeps, what in the Matrix is this?
Yes, this is Super Friends, Phantom Zone, Bizarro World, Twilight Zone stuff. And right now, the fans are the beneficiaries of what we're seeing right now. And the way that they built this up with Ethan Page and Joe Hendry, and Hendry getting the lion's share of the attention from the fans, but Ethan Page is getting the lion's share of attention from the higher ups within the company. And I think that's the clash that's going on right now.
You're completely right. Well, look, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and lock in my winner for this match. Sorry, I'm sorry. I gotta go with Joe Hendry. I gotta go. Listen. Hear that? Ladies and gentlemen, hear that? Tokyo.
There you go.
Scotland, Canada, Texas. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Oh man. I guess I'll pencil you in for Joe Hendry.
Peeps, you better not. I got Ethan Page winning this. Yo, who the hell do you think I am? Joe Hendry? NXT title? Are you out of your mind?
Hey, people said the same thing about Ethan Page, former AEW star.
No, I mean, yeah, of course, but
yeah,
Ethan Page is. You know who Ethan Page reminds me of so much, peeps? NXT Black and Gold Bobby Roode. Just in the sense of the heel work, the sense of the in-ring awareness and technicality, the sense of how he wrestles and the way that he carries himself within NXT, it just gives me Bobby Roode vibes. I mean, I'm honestly keeping it a buck. Yeah. I want to see this prolong.
Yes, and so
here's how it prolongs. Ethan Page is going to win the match. Joe Hendry might actually have him, and he might actually have his number. But then you have the sword of Damocles, peeps, from what you would usually go ahead and say.
Yes.
The special guest referee, Trick Williams. Trick is turning heel. I said it.
Okay.
Put me down for that. Trick is turning heel on Joe Hendry, causing Ethan Page to go ahead and win the title.
Yeah. Well, so you're getting a lot of Bobby Roode vibes. I'm getting, and I'm gonna probably get a lot of fans on here that might think about this. I'm getting on a lesser level a little bit of Gino Hernandez. For those that have watched World Class and know exactly what I'm talking about, although the mic skills probably Ethan Page can cut a promo. That's not an issue.
I mean, of course, yeah.
It's his style, how he's using his ego within the framework of what he's doing, and there's no Tully Blanchard dynamic duo with him to make that that assertion that that's what he's doing. But I'm getting subtle vibes of, like you said, Bobby Roode, but I'm also getting subtle vibes of Gino Hernandez, and I think that's probably the reason why I like what I'm seeing out of him. Especially, he's coming in the ring. He's holding the belt like he's straight from the 80s. He could have done well in the territory days. He's got the suit. He's got the glasses. He's walking. He's talking a lot of trash, and he's throwing his ego. See what I'm doing? All of his ego in everyone's face, and that's what I like about Ethan Page.
Okay. I can respect it. All right, then. Well, then, it seems like we got our predictions down. You got Ethan Page. I got Ethan Page. We got Roxanne. We got Oba. We got Kalani. We got Chase U. And we got Wesley. Peeps, if we go 6 for 6, they better recognize who the heck is the best in the business at going ahead and making these predictions. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end. Yeah, exactly. There you go, peeps. There you go. But look, with that being said, that marks the end of our predictions, and this marks the end of the first half of Same. When we come back, we're going to get into our questions, and from our questions, we will have our predictions for Bash in Berlin, which starts in 30 minutes. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere, because the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event. Of course, it is out a phenomenal one. Alongside me is the Peeps Nature. We're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the point of the show where we go ahead and answer questions from you guys, the loyal fans. If you guys want to send in a question, there's only one thing that you have to do. DM us on Instagram at Saturday afternoons _main event. You send in a question in the words of the wrestling god, WWE Hall of Famer JBL. I guarantee it will be on the next episode of the show. With that being said, first question comes from Master Sean 007. He says, greetings, gentlemen. I want to talk about salaries in wrestling. Recently, Tony Khan has been taking some flack for supposedly overpaying some of his talent. My question would be, how do you determine the worth of a wrestler, manager, or announcer, since there obviously isn't a salary cap in wrestling? Peeps, how do you answer this question, man?
Well, the wrestling business isn't like any other sports entity with UFC or with the NFL or NASCAR or Major League Baseball, where salaries are prominently placed based on sort of similar roads of where they are. So you can look in the NFL and you can say, well, Patrick Mahomes got $400 million for what he did in the NFL at the quarterback position. But another quarterback on another team did relatively lesser with a different team. You can kind of compare those. Whereas in the professional wrestling business, it's not really like that because, one, there is no unifying body of wrestling where you have everybody within the same business under the same umbrella answering to the same league of owners, so to speak, getting a salary commensurate to what others are doing. It's all self-contained based on value in ring to that particular company in that particular side of where they are in the country or in the world, merchandising, etc. And we know this based on how many huge salaries and huge contracts have been doled out over the last few years.
Yeah.
And this goes in with the recent revelation that we know that Swerve Strickland just got a huge deal to re-sign with AEW, kind of revealed not specifically how much, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's locked up for at least another 3 or 4 years. So he's not going anywhere. And we heard there was a complaint by someone from WWE. I think it might have either been Triple H or somebody within his purview, his circle, that might have gone to the wrestling media and basically said that a big deal like Swerve's is bad for wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand that, considering Randy Orton, who is, I believe, was 44, 45 years old.
Yep.
He just re-signed a 5-year deal with the WWE. Now, we know that deals in WWE are pretty large, especially guys at the top of the card, like an Orton or somebody along those lines, like a Roman Reigns. Exactly. A Charlotte Flair. Somebody like that has gotten huge long-term deals and have gotten a ton of money per year. Now, if we're looking at it from that standpoint, where was the complaint about Orton getting this huge deal or somebody like that when we're seeing these kinds of deals happen? Bottom line is, when we see wrestlers get these huge deals, a lot of it can be chalked up to sour grapes because they didn't get that opportunity. They didn't get that deal. We just saw Ricochet leave WWE to go to AEW, and we could assume he got a huge money deal to sign with them. So if you want to look at that and compare what they're getting to what is happening, the only ones that know the value of what a contract is going to be comparable to what WWE is doing and vice versa is the ones that are running the companies, because there's really no way to kind of gauge that right now unless you want to look at ticket sales and merchandising.
You got a point. Well, in the sense of this, if I have to answer it, how do I determine the worth of a wrestler? Yeah, as Pete said, it's just within the sense of merchandising, the way that he's over with the crowd, the sensibility of how I can market him and how it can make money for me. Now look, Swerve, yes, you could definitely do that with Swerve. Swerve deserved that payday. I mean, shoot.
Yes.
Garcia, you can do it alongside him as well. And the way that they're carrying a storyline with him in the sense of how he's feuding with MJF, I'm so intrigued to see where this goes. And we know this means that they're going to have a match, sooner or later and All Out. So, I mean, that goes into it as well. But the fact of the matter is that I don't find a problem paying Swerve or, paying Daniel Garcia. Now, had you told me you're breaking the bank on Chris Jericho now, that would be something that I'd have to look into. If you're saying that you're going to be putting out the bank on, let's say, who can I go ahead and name here, peeps? Brian Cage? Then we're getting somewhere where it's like, okay, what the heck is wrong with you? But still, in a sense, it's Swerve. He's held the world title. He was the face of the company for a good amount of months.
Yes.
Let's not get it twisted here. That's where I feel as if, people in WWE, they're kind of getting a little loose-headed within the sense of, why wouldn't you want to pay Swerve? Whatever they didn't do with Swerve, that's their loss. Because we knew what Isaiah Scott, that's what his name was in NXT for you people that probably wasn't familiar with Swerve when he was with WWE.
Isaiah Swerve Scott. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. Now, if they didn't do something with Isaiah Swerve Scott, that's their problem. But we got a company that's doing something with Swerve Strickland that is miles above what they thought his ceiling was. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm just glad he's somewhere. He's being used properly, and he's getting the payday that he rightfully deserves. That's where it comes down to.
I just wish they would have marketed him as a world champion much better than they did, because that is my main issue with what they did with Swerve.
No, you're definitely
but other than that, if you're looking at metrics, one of the other things that they do, and this is something that Eric Bischoff used to do a lot of, and that was with ratings. The ratings for AEW over the last month or so has kind of stabilized a little bit between 600,000 and 700,000 within that range. Last week, or I should say this past Wednesday, they did 691,000. They did 698 the week before, and then they did 703,000. So I guess this is where they've been kind of positioning themselves a little bit. If you're going to use that as a metric, as far as, quarter hours and advertising, well, when we put this guy in this quarter hour and then the ratings go up, and then we go ahead and then leverage that against the advertising money going into the company that goes back into merchandising, maybe then you can go ahead and say that that's how we kind of determine what's happening there. But if you're going to look at it from the standpoint of, does this guy deserve it because he's been in the company X amount of years, or he was in another company and didn't get the opportunity, and then they brought him to another company and now he's the main star? Let's think about this. Swerve 3 years ago was a mid-carder when he first got into AEW. He was almost an afterthought. And then they did the Mogul Empire, and then they were trying to figure out what they were going to do with him, and then they stuck him in there with some various tag teams and different people that were within that company, and then they had Parker Boudreaux that they brought in from WWE, and they wanted to see where it was going to go. He's gone from that to being, quite honestly, probably one of the faces of AEW. As a matter of fact, you could potentially say he might actually be a pillar of AEW. Remember that whole pillar, 4 pillars of AEW? He's much more so a face of this company. And for every Swerve and for every MJF and for every Will Ospreay, you're going to get that Mercedes Moné and some of the others that people are looking at to throw shade at the contract.
Well, look. Aside from that, don't even speak to me about Moné. Don't, Peeps.
I understand.
If Dave Meltzer gives her a 2-star match, then listen, like, there's no like sense of being like, you know what, Mercedes, she gets up. Like, no, Peeps. She's dumpster fire waiting to happen. I'll put it like that. I'll put it like that. End of story. It's just, no, Peeps. Yeah.
Yes.
I digress.
Yeah, there we go. There you go. That's number 3.
Master Shaw 007, great question.
You just riled up my partner like nobody else.
Mentioned it to the best of my abilities. Good grief.
There you go.
Hey. Peeps, that is why they speak on Kitchen so much when it pertains to... I digress. Rich?
There you go.
Just
Woosah.
All right. Long Island Isaiah says this. He says, Hayes versus Andrade delivered again. Genuinely impressed with how they handle time well with what they're giving. Tell Triple H, give me a 17 to 20 minute match with them at Bad Blood. Peeps, he's not wrong. Listen. Peeps. Those guys. Hey. Forget a speed championship. Those 2 individuals can go. They can go.
Yes.
Peeps. Now the question is, you're already at 2-2. We said best of 5. Does this seem like a best of 7?
This needs to be best of 7. And this is something that I put in text thread of ours yesterday. I said, this is basically giving me Booker T versus Chris Benoit vibes. Best of 7. Melo looked like he was going to get swept out of this. He started to make the last 2 matches comebacks to kind of tie this thing up. They're going to have a 5th match at some point. I cannot get tired of watching these 2 wrestlers get in the ring and construct a physical in-ring program that has drama, story, and intrigue the way that they've done with these 2. The chemistry between these 2 is off the charts. And even more so, what I love watching about them is they do just enough different in each successive match that makes you like, wow, that wasn't the same as the other one. Oh, well, I've seen this match before. It's going to be roughly. They've done just enough to change up either the ending or how the match starts or somewhere in the body of the match where it's changed just enough to be just as intriguing and just as independent of the previous matches as each one is and still seem fresh.
You're not wrong, Peace. You're not wrong, but something just kind of caught my attention here. Corey Richmond says this. He's like, Monet is the best female wrestler of her generation, hands down. And then, Hot Rod, Corey, you're smoking that crack again. You're damn right he is. The heck? Monet, best generation. Who puts those three words in a sentence? That's like combining a subject and a crack-headed ass predicate. What the hell is wrong with you? Monet, peeps, put the cup down. This is serious. Monet, peeps. So, are we gonna act like Rebecca Quinn doesn't exist and Ashley Flair doesn't exist? Are you kidding me?
Or Bailey. There you go. And then we have a lot of young stars that are coming in that are actually doing it. Yeah, it's crazy.
What the heck? What the generation? No. This man said generation.
Here's where I'll go with this. We've seen Sasha Banks in WWE have, without question, some of the greatest matches that we've seen in the women's division in a long time. Her feud with Charlotte Flair, her matches with Bailey.
Except for don't even get me started on that.
But. Yes, we know what she can do. The issue is she the best out there? That's a stretch. And the fact that she's good, she's very good. My problem is look, best in any sport or anything is subjective. That's based on your own eyeballs and your own eyeball test.
He says Monet best in ring, Lynch best promo. In ring.
I won't even say that she's better in ring than Becky Lynch.
A lot at all.
That's even a stretch. Becky Lynch is a much is Becky is a better wrestler. Yes, I'm not saying this is not to besmirch what Mercedes can do in ring, but I am not going to go out there and say that she's the greatest and greatest women's wrestler in our generation. She's a very good wrestler. She's very talented. She can go when she ring the bell and go ahead and say, "Give us a match." She can. Is she the best in this generation? No. And I can respectfully say that. No.
No, honestly, I don't have any problem with, Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks. Listen, that woman can go. She's good. Yes. But when you sit there and you try to compare her to other women who are currently within this generation who can put on a solid banger of a match, are we forgetting that Athena exists, but it's not? But
Thank you. There you go. I was going to bring that up about 30 seconds ago.
Like what? Are we acting like Athena just doesn't exist? Are we?
Well, AEW acts like she doesn't exist. So.
Well, I mean, peeps.
But I digress.
Exactly. But you got her. You got Bailey. You got. Who else can I possibly go ahead and put in within this? Io Sky, Kairi Sane. I mean, Dakota Kai most of the time before injuries. Bianca Belair.
How are we not talking about Bianca Belair?
Shayna Baszler pre-booking. I mean, like pre-main roster booking. I mean, there are women out there that you can make the case for that are better than what the stuff that Mercedes putting out. Now it's just not. It doesn't hit. It just doesn't. See, okay, that this would probably make more sense. He's like, the Phenom says Sasha is better than Monet, character, in ring, even promo.
That makes sense.
That
actually makes sense.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes.
If you're comparing it like that, if you're gonna be like in whole, just Mercedes in whole.
Yes.
Mercedes now, not so much.
You know what it is? Sasha has a different aura. Sasha has a different body of work. Sasha has a different mindset, a different move set, and is literally a different character. Mercedes, completely different. And if we're going to go on half of what Mercedes Varnado is when the first part of her career was Sasha Banks, and then you're going to take the Mercedes Moné character and you try to put them against each other, then you know Sasha will just literally dissolve Mercedes. Period.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely right. Completely right. Jeez, Corey, man. Total package, Monet. Athena and Jordan Grace are the best that few people get to see. But still better than Monet. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's just
Like, yes.
that was just that's a contradiction to his own point.
Come on, yes, that's what people get to see. Yes, but if people see them, they can make the inference that they are
Yes.
better than Mercedes Monet. That's what I'm trying to say.
Especially Athena.
If Athena was on AEW television right now, peeps, tell me that she would have been world champion.
Yes.
Tell me she would be that caliber of a star.
Matter of fact, I would make an argument to say that, remember the belt collector gimmick that they gave, the storyline that they gave to Kenny Omega?
Yup.
Where I would have her TBS champ, AEW world champ, and then rub it in everyone's face at how good she is. That's what Athena should be doing right now.
No, she's that good of a women's wrestler.
Yes.
Once more, it's not to outshine Mercedes and whatever she's done in the past, career-wise, but it's just that look. If you're going to compare, there's no way to compare. See, Alex says this. He's like, Monet and DMD's match at All In was trash. Both are overrated. The overratedness? I can't really say overrated.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the match was trash, but I will say I expected a lot more out of the match.
Underwhelming is the word.
Yes, there you go.
But not trash. It was just underwhelming. Yes. It's not close to main event caliber. They put this match at the mid card. Mind you, Toni Storm and Mariah May for the women's title went on as the second match of the night. This was way later into the show. That match should have been. Remember when we talked about match placement with AEW? That match should have been the match in between, just before the main event. I think that probably could have had a better place to put that match a little higher in the card. Dr. Britt Baker, a little bit more attention to her character would have gotten the fans, not to say off of their feet or on their feet and up out of their chairs, so to speak, but that would have been a better match to put on than that casket match before the main event. You're damn right. No, you're damn right. There's just so much that happened within that span where it's just like you had that match later, it was lackluster. It just wasn't it. Phenom says this, more like disappointed. There's so many words you can use for that match. If Meltzer gives it 2.5 stars, and I don't even agree with Dave half the time. But the fact that Dave said 2.5 stars, most of the ratings that he gave for the show was strategically right. I'm not knocking Dave this time around. But the fact of the matter is that you had Monet and Britt put on a lackluster match, an underwhelming match, so to say. Nah. See, Alex says this. He's like, Storm and May's match was epic and actually told a great story. You're damn right. You are damn right.
Yes.
Corey says this.
I go on record. That was the third best match of the whole show, as far as I'm concerned.
You're damn right. Oh, yeah, exactly.
That was great.
Corey says Baker has had only a handful of matches since her return. Match was fine. Ending was trash. That I can agree with. That I can agree with. Needed to rub off some of the ring rust. I get that. Fine with that. Ending was trash. Yes, I agree with that as well. Because it seems like they were going for the Monet Maker right before they actually hit it. But it seems like they botched the move and they botched the ending. That's what it seems like to me. Peeps, whatever it was, ring rust, just they weren't coexisting, whatever it is.
Maybe it was a bad pizza before the match. Who knows?
Bad pizza.
Whatever it was.
Corey says Monet needs a new fit. I completely agree with you. She botches that one too many times. We literally saw her debut in New Japan. The minute she goes to Kyrie, you know what? Yay, besties, whatever the case may be. It's a Monet Maker. She could even go ahead and hit it the correct way. Botches the whole freaking move. When she went ahead and hit it on Julia Hart, listen, that was that.
She should just go back to the bank statement. Nobody would have a problem if she would do the bank statement, even though she'd have to give it something else.
A new name, I don't know. The
check writer, something along those lines. They'll come up with something. cash your check in, something something that refers to her CEO title, which we still have no idea what she's the CEO of. But hey, I digress.
If you have Kaz Okada, then something may be working.
Don't get me started with that.
Good grief. Okada's son. How do you say? Good grief. Sayonara. Like, geez, I digress. I digress for a second.
We haven't even been on an hour. We already got 7 I digresses in.
And we got 10 minutes left. Jeez.
Yes.
We got one more question here to handle. Oh man. Sean shows his age with the check comment. Woo! Check cashing, damn peeps.
Chess. There you go.
Oh man.
Yeah. People are like, what's a check? What's a check? You know, they write on paper, they get money from someplace.
Peeps, yo, you remember money orders?
Wow. Yeah.
Yo, Peeps just had a flashback.
Call it the Cash app.
Yo, oh my Lord. There you go, Peeps. Good Lord.
Yes. A new finishing move. Call it the Cash app. Call it a day.
Oh man. Corey says Okada is a great American wrestling heel. Completely agree with you. Yes. Every single time he goes ahead and before his finisher, and instead of just doing the and now it's instead of just he flips the bird to everybody. I love it. I start doing it. It's great stuff. Amazing stuff. Oh jeez, Corey, that's even credit union. What the heck? Hey yo, guys. You know what? Peeps, respectfully, Corey, respectfully, guys, just shut up. Y'all are not doing good with these names. No, creative voice, y'all suck. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but yo, just stop. Stop. Y'all embarrassing yourselves. Y'all just showing that y'all aging more like milk instead of like wine. Relax. But that being said, last question goes to Tombstone City Adam. He says, who makes an appearance after the Roxanne match on Sunday, Julia or Valkyr? I already said Julia, Peeps. Do you think it might be Valkyr?
Yeah. I think that, you know what, that's not a bad idea because no one has heard about her since she signed with WWE. If they did bring her in, that would definitely work, especially if we had this whole dark thing going with Wendy Chu, and then they brought in Rosemary. Who knows? That could be something to throw in there.
Yeah, you got a point. No, you got a point. Maybe why not both of them? Who knows?
Yes.
Okay. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of the questions. As you can see, we appreciate these things. We have full-fledged discussions, and we roast the hell out of each other. This is what makes it fun. The fact of the matter is this. You want to be a part of the action, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. DM us a question on Saturday afternoons _main event. Send it in, and it will be featured on the next episode of the show. With that being said, we have 7 minutes left. We're about to steamroll through this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, within 7 minutes, Bash in Berlin starts. We're ready to go ahead and get this show on the road. Peace. Look, first and foremost, Unholy Union versus Belair and Cargill. Tag team match, women's tag team championships. Book me down for the Unholy Union.
Yeah, we're gonna further see a de-evolution of the tag team, and eventually they'll split at some point. But I don't think that this is gonna happen, especially they're in Europe. Yeah. So
yeah. Okay, so we got that down. Okay. Terror Twins versus the Judgment Day. Of course, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. I already know the Phenom is probably typing up something right now, talking about what a champion! The puppy of WWF. Forget all of that BS. Sweet cream on an ice cream sandwich. Triple C, what in the blue hell are you doing? Don't type it. Please don't. I will be disgusted. Anywho, give me the Judgment Day.
Oh,
I literally just said all of that just to go with the Judgment Day. How stupid can I possibly be, right? But no, I think Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan take the W here by some way of the other members of the Judgment Day interfering within the match.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's what it looks like, because I think that's where they're going to head in that whole aspect.
Definitely. Oh, jeez. You see what I tell you, peeps? We predict stuff over here. Look at him. Phenom, what a champion. Yeah, whatever.
Of course.
Whatever. Okay, anywho, next match.
Next thing you know, he'll come there with a tattoo over his eye, and you know.
Don't do it. Peeps, don't give him ideas. What's next? He's going to grow out a mullet? Please. What is he going to
You
do?
know,
Turn his hair to get
that
straightened
would
out?
be interesting. Seeing the
Please,
Triple
don't
C
give him ideas.
with
Don't give him ideas. Don't give him ideas. Don't give him ideas.
mustache and mullet,
Oh,
wearing
God.
a purple shirt around his waist,
Looking
North
like a
American
full-fledged
Championship on his
cholo.
shoulder.
Looking like a full-fledged cholo. He knows what he's gonna be for Halloween. Oh, damn it.
But what do you mean Halloween? That's the everyday look for the Triple C,
Oh my
as he is a
God.
Dom Mysterio fan. There you
You
go.
mean chill? That's the right word to use.
I'm being kind.
Please, please. Ain't no such thing as kindness over here. It's a Triple C we're talking about. But with that being said, next match is a strap match. Punk McIntyre. Punk levels this out 1-1. We already know how this goes. Bad blood, Hell in a
Yes.
Cell. Both of the men in the ring, whatever the case may be. So yeah,
Yes.
give me CM Punk to go ahead and beat Drew
Yes.
McIntyre and level the score.
I got Punk in this one because Punk needs to get some kind of comeuppance here. Now, does he get back the bracelet when this match is over or not?
No,
That's the difference.
no, I don't think he gets it back. No,
Yeah.
definitely not. From there, singles match, World Heavyweight title. If Orton wins the title, he will be transferred to Raw and Gunther will be transferred to SmackDown. Peeps. Give me Randy Orton. I'm playing. Come on. We know what the end game is with this. You already know what my plans are for WrestleMania. I
Of
choose
course.
to see a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton some way down the
Yes.
line. Orton is staying on SmackDown, which means he's not
Yes.
winning the World Heavyweight title. Further
Yes.
the reign of the Ring General
Yes.
Junta, or like Vulture for peeps, because
Yes.
peeps will pop a vein if I continue to say
Yeah.
the other name. So
Yes.
yes, give me Vulture.
Yes. And
All right.
I think that's all day, every day. That's just gonna happen. He
Okay.
don't be surprised if he's champion over a year.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Don't be
No, I
surprised.
honestly wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. I really wouldn't be. I honestly wouldn't be. Well, with that being said, peeps, last match: Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, singles match, undisputed WWE title. Peeps, do we have to go over this? You can just pencil in what I know you're gonna put down. So it's
Yes.
fine. It's
Okay.
fine. It's
Let's
fine.
see. Ric Flair interfere. Oh no. That's Cody Rhodes. Woo! There you go. Yes.
This is why I love my tag team partner, man. Good grief, peeps, man. What would I do without you? Good
There
Lord.
you go.
Okay, so yeah, it's Cody Rhodes. It is. Then we get Solo back for a little bit, and then
Yes.
in come the Tribal Chief at Bad Blood, whatever the case may be, in the Usos and whatnot, and maybe a Sami Zayn, and then we go straight into whatever Survivor Series and stuff.
Yes.
Corey says this. He's like, question is, does Steen turn heel mid match? Yes.
Yeah. I don't think he'll stay heel because I think he'll probably turn heel or do heel tactics during the match.
During the match, yeah.
And then do something along
Yeah.
those lines.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to think it's like a permanent sense of like turning heel because
Yeah.
remember, Randy's still on SmackDown, so it's like you're gonna need that sense of like Deb having to defend him or whatnot, and this side of it's gonna be a lot. But I don't
Yes.
see him turning heel permanently. He'll probably be mid match just for the duration of the other half of the match, and then probably like raise Cody's hand at the end of the night or something. Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, it's 12:59 Eastern Standard Time. It is August 31st, 2024. This is Saturday afternoon's main event. And in a minute, Bash in Berlin starts. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for going ahead and tuning in on the show with us. All 63 of you guys have been amazing.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. We love you
Yes,
guys.
we do.
It wouldn't be same without you. So appreciate you guys. In the words of the Peep Stage, give yourself a pat on the back. 15 inches away from the kick in the rear. Ladies
There
and
you
gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we will see you next week for episode 6. But just remember that it was here on Saturday afternoon's main event that I, the phenomenal one,
And I, the Peeps Nate, we came.
we saw.
And in the words of the great Paul Heyman, we conquered.
We conquered, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy Bash in Berlin. Enjoy No Mercy. We will see you next week because, of course, we have our all-out predictions. Look at that. Corey already sent a text in the chat talking about all this AEW. Get this man off my screen. playing, man. Playing. But look, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy Bash in Berlin. See you guys next week. This was Same. I'm the phenomenal one. It's Peeps Nate. Peace. Love.